the government has refused to institute a national inquiry. Would there be a case for an inquiry within your area, Greater Manchester? This is something that you could do.
Well, it's interesting that you asked me that question because it suggests that you don't know what I've already done. There has been and is an ongoing major inquiry, and there has been a substantial report into what happened in Oldham. And as a result of that inquiry, there is a major police investigation. And as a result, there have been multiple arrests, charges and convictions. And that obviously seems to be lost on you. And I think there's a danger here, rather than dealing in facts, people are going straight to propaganda about the issue.
I'm fully aware of the inquiry in Oldham, but we also know that this happened in Rochdale. We also know that there were examples elsewhere in Manchester. So what I'm really asking is whether there is a case for an inquiry that goes beyond the individual local council.
Yes, there is, and I'm not in any way, I'm not directly answering that question. And in fact, I did order that overarching inquiry that you are talking about, actually within days of coming into office as Mayor of Greater Manchester. If we go back to May 2017, literally when I was elected and came in my first few days, the Betrayed Girls documentary was broadcast by the BBC. And I was travelling around one day and I heard Maggie Oliver on Radio 5 Live talking about a major police investigation in Manchester. Yes, I heard her giving a long interview on the BBC talking about how a police investigation, a major investigation into grooming and child sexual exploitation in Manchester had been stood down overnight. And I, in that moment, said, well, I can't hear that and not act on that. And it was on that precise piece of information that I acted, obviously, with the Betrayed Girls documentary as well, and said that there had to be a wide-ranging, overarching inquiry into how Greater Manchester had handled this issue in the past. And that led to a report on Manchester. It led to a report on Oldham, which was requested by Oldham Council, and it led to a third report on Rochdale, which was published pretty much a year ago, and you'll remember the coverage of that. We're now in a final stage of that inquiry, which is looking at whether the public here can have confidence now that things are as they should be.
Just very briefly, Andy, Maggie Oliver, who you mentioned, I saw yesterday, said that Keir Starmer is as responsible for not tackling this issue as any other individual. That's pretty brutal, isn't it?
Well, I go back to what I said before about it's really important that we deal with facts rather than, as I say, political statements. I'm not saying that that's what Maggie Oliver did, but you look online and there's a huge amount of uninformed speculation statements that don't connect to the facts. In relation to the precise issue, as Director of Public Prosecutions, Keir Starmer made fundamental changes to address the problem that's at the heart of this, which is when victims came forward in the past, the immediate response often was not to believe those girls when they came forward. And not to take forward those investigations. And that's what the review that I have ordered has revealed. And he made changes so that the victims were heard and what they said was acted upon. So, by all means, Trevor, we've been dealing with this issue for a number of years now. I welcome the discussion of whether there should be a national inquiry. All I hear is lots of politicians who have shown no interest in the investigation I ordered, who are now making grand statements about it.
Andy,
well,
I'm sorry to cut.
They should have been working with us a few years ago.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but we've run out of time. Thank you for your time this morning.
All right. You're welcome.